Welcome to Cultivating Courage, a podcast exploring fear, courage, and stepping into a life filled with purpose, connection, and love. In this week's episode, Matt and I are chatting with professional singer Cassidy Smith about the link between perseverance and luck, and why shifting your definition of success isn't necessarily a bad thing. Stay tuned to find out if Matt talks Cassidy into singing a little opera for us. Welcome to another episode of Cultivating Courage. I am your host, Kristin Robinson. I am the founder and head coach at Thrive Coaching Studio. We help people explore fear and step into their greatness.
I'm Matt Maxwell. I'm also a host of this podcast.
Yeah, man.
And I am a coach. You probably already know that. So what I really want to tell you today is that I love chocolate chip cookies.
Sweet. Like, do you the super soft ones or the kind of crunchy ones?
I like skillet cookies.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, with the ice cream and the caramel.
The softer the better.
I see.
I mean, if they have chocolate chips, as long as the chips themselves are not crunchy, it's probably okay. But I prefer softer chocolate chip cookies.
Great.
Thanks. Someday I'm probably going to write a book about it. How to eat a chocolate chip cookie.
Nice.
It's going to be like the 4th book in the series.
I like it.
Yep.
The how-to series.
It starts with holding cockroaches.
Yes.
And gets better from there.
I like it. Yeah, how to eat a chocolate chip cookie is way better than how to hold a cockroach.
That's number 4. Number 5 is how to have the orgasm of your life.
Oh, this podcast is no longer PG.
Sorry.
Look out.
We'll talk about that one in a few years. We'll make sure everybody knows beforehand.
Yeah, we'll give you guys plenty of warning before that episode.
I'm here with a guest.
We are, Matt.
Yes.
I was just going to remind you of that. Welcome.
Hello.
Who are you?
My name is Cassidy.
Yes.
Cassidy Smith.
Cassidy Smith is a professional opera singer,
Yeah.
among other things. A longtime friend of mine. What do you want everybody to know about you?
I am a singer. One thing that I am trying to change about how I identify myself is I'm just a professional singer.
Yeah, okay, I love that.
Because most of what I do is not opera. Okay. However, telling people that you're an opera singer gives them a lens, and they think, okay, so that means classical music. And I still am mostly a classical singer.
So would you say a classical singer?
Yeah, but I like singer because I do all sorts of stuff now.
Like what?
Like I sing in churches and synagogues, and I sing at elementary schools. That's most of the opera I do, actually, is in elementary schools. With
how
opera
cool
for the young.
to like introduce them to what it is.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun organization out of Madison, and we go into elementary schools. The kids actually learn the music ahead of time, and so we have a chorus with us on stage, and they like learn the blocking in half an hour, and then we do the show for the rest of the school. And so kids they're super engaged throughout the entire show because their friends are there.
Do you perform music written for them, like for children, or is it like classical pieces?
So they usually do a piece that is already written, and they adapt it for kids. It's usually under 45 minutes. They translate it to English if it was in a different language, and incorporate the children, and also make it so there are only 4 singers. That way you can have like a cast that goes around and does it. However, last school year, we did Superstorm, which was a brand new opera. They wrote a new opera just for the company, just to do that. So, so they were trying new things. But this coming year, we're doing The Pirates of Penzance, which Gilbert and Sullivan is a very well-known operetta.
I am the very... What is it?
Model of a modern major general. Yeah.
Yes.
I do not have to sing that song.
Off the hook.
Yeah. Although I'm sure I'll know it by the end of the school year.
So singer.
Yeah.
Choral.
I do a lot of chorus work. That's the bulk of my professional singing income. This is a great town for that. I had no idea when I moved here that being a professional chorister was something that I A, wanted to do, or B, was possible. I've been singing choirs ever since elementary school. So I enjoy that, and it's something I have a lot of experience in, and I didn't know that people got paid to do that until I moved here, and discovered that between the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Chorus and the Grant Park Music Festival, and then the Lyric Opera, I mean, these are some of the best choirs in the world, and they pay their singers. Who knew?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you go from being a kid in choir in elementary school to deciding that you wanted to make that your job?
It was, it's a winding process. I started in a children's choir, just like a community children's choir. And then when I got to middle school and high school, I was in the musicals. And then I went to college for voice performance. I had never been to an opera that I liked when I went to school for opera. But as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, no, this is actually pretty cool. This is good.
Wait, you had never been to what that you
An
liked?
opera that I liked.
Oh, so you had never actually liked opera?
Yeah. Well, I had been to one opera in high school, and it was terrible.
What was it?
It was Rigoletto at Opera Colorado. And I've since talked to people at Opera Colorado, and they say, like, yeah, that was a bad production. We know.
Oh, really?
So it wasn't so much the opera itself, it was the production of the opera.
But I didn't. I
Right,
was
you're in high
17. I
school.
had
Now,
no
when
idea.
you listen to Rigoletto, do you like it?
Oh, I love it. It's a
Oh.
fantastic opera.
It was just it was truly
just
the production.
it was truly the production. And I was not. I didn't.
You weren't in that world yet.
I wasn't in that world yet.
Yeah.
I had never seen anything. I didn't understand the concept of. It was an adapted or like an updated production. So it wasn't the costumes of the
I
age.
see.
It was
Like modernized.
they
in some
were
way.
wearing leopard print and there was neon and I was like, but they're singing in
you
Italian.
You didn't like the leopard print and neon?
I
together?
didn't.
They just
No,
seemed like
it
they
just-
would so
it-
naturally.
No, those two go well with the music.
With the
It didn't.
Not so
I
much.
didn't get it at the time. Now I might understand better, but
It's interesting that you say that because I saw The Flying Dutchman, Der Fliegende Holländer,
very
right?
good.
Yes. Which is the German dude, composer.
Don't look at me, man.
It's do you know who it is? Tell me who it is.
I'm pretty sure, but as I said earlier,
Wagner.
Wagner. There
yeah.
you go.
Anyways, I went in high school and like basically spent half of it asleep, I think, which was not a bad way to sleep with, soaring music in the
thrilling
background.
music.
Yeah, it is. But I wonder, like, maybe I just need to go see the right opera for it to really like get it. I'll hear like pieces of opera where I'm like, ooh, I love that. But I've never actually gone to like a full opera where I've been like, I loved that experience.
Do you feel like people should learn the story of the opera before they go to see it? Because I know, like, when I was in high school, I went and saw Les Mis, not an opera, and I think, like, thank goodness we had studied the story of, like, what was happening, or I would have been like, I don't know, I don't understand what's going on at all, and I would have probably checked out other than enjoying the music part of it. So that, to me, made a big difference. So I would be curious to hear if that's something you tell people, like, read up on it. Here's the basic storyline.
Absolutely. I think that it is a crucial tool to know the story ahead of time. When most of the operas that we do today were written, people already knew the story. It was, the opera was based on a play that everyone had already seen, or it's based on a book that everyone has already read. And now we don't read those books as much, or the plays aren't done anymore. So how can you go into the Marriage of Figaro and know all of these characters and the history of these characters without, and it's long. It's a long time to try and follow everything, and it's in a different language. And you get the translation. The translation is almost always either in the seat in front of you or projected above. So you can know what's happening, but it's a long time to follow a storyline. And so I think knowing ahead of time helps you connect with the story more. What I wish I wish someone would take the synopses of operas and just take out the twist endings, and like, so that if you want to know the
there's still a little
spoilers,
bit of suspense and some like what's going to happen.
We don't want to
instead
know
of,
that
like,
she
the
dies, but
lovers
like we
die
want
at
to
the
know
end.
everything up to that.
Yeah, totally.
So
That's
I hope
the
someone's doing
challenge,
that.
right? It's like
Yeah.
you want enough background that
Right.
you can know what's going
Follow
on, but like
yeah.
you also want to be surprised by the story.
Yeah.
So Okay, so you didn't like opera, and then you were studying
And then I went to college,
Mm-hmm.
and I studied it a little bit. I was in La Boheme, I was in the chorus, and then I saw Magic Flute that year as well, and I was like, oh, I get it now. I think I read the synopsis beforehand, so I understood what was happening, and I really enjoyed it. And then it was still like I don't really know. Is this something I want to do with my life? I'm going to school for it, so I hope so. But I knew I loved music. That was the reason I was there. I wasn't so sure about opera yet. And then I went to Vienna for study abroad. And I was there for a semester, and I saw 24 operas.
Oh my gosh.
In Vienna, they have, at the State Opera House, they have the Stehplatz, which is the standing room only. And they're some of the best seats in the house. Seats. In quotes, because you're standing for the entire thing, but it's only €4. And so it's totally affordable. It's like $5 to go to the opera, and you see, I mean, it's world-class opera. So any chance I had, I went and saw the opera in Vienna, and that's when I've truly developed an understanding and a love for the art form. And I came back and I said to my voice teacher, that's it. How do I get there? What do I do? What do we do now? Yeah.
What was it in seeing all of those operas that had you really fall in love with opera?
I think the variety was part of it. There's just so much material out there in different languages, written at different times, and the stories are just they're across the board. There's so many interesting stories out there that are being told through music. And also the power of a singer. All they're using is their body, and they are able to connect with a room of 2,000 people and make everyone in that room feel something. It might be boredom, but hopefully for most of the people in the room, they're feeling something, or they're connecting, or you're taking them out of their day-to-day things. You can help transport them to another world, or just entertain for a little while or something, but you're just using your body and the music that's been written to make people feel. And I think that's powerful and really awesome.
Yeah. I think I feel like there's an argument to be made that there is nothing more powerful in getting people present than music. Like, I think to what you were saying, like pulling them out of whatever's going on. I feel like music is one of the most powerful ways to pull people out of their heads and just get really present to like what's happening. And maybe it's more the performance of music than just music itself. Yeah. You know, 'cause sure, like sad song on the radio, if you're feeling sad, it just keeps you there. Yeah. But the performance of music, I think, it just captivates.
It does.
Or it has the potential to captivate. Yeah.
It does have the potential. Something interesting that I see at Grant Park. So we perform at the J. Pritzker Pavilion, which if you've never been there, it's a big stage, you know, with the orchestra and the chorus, and there's a seating bowl. But then there's also a lawn, and the lawn is totally flat. And when you're on the lawn, you can't really see what's happening on stage. You can see a little bit, but you're far away. But they have the music piped in through speakers so you can hear. But not everyone on the lawn is there just to watch a performance. Sometimes they're enjoying time with friends, or they are just enjoying sitting outside with a bottle of wine. And then the people in the seating bowl are almost always totally focused on what's ahead. They're there for the music. They're there for the performance. And I love that we're able to give a performance for people who are experiencing it in different ways. And it's okay to experience it in different ways. I think that's great. When you're in a symphony hall, if you're on your phone, that's awful. Like, no one would do that. But like if a phone rings out on the lawn, no one really cares. Like motorcycles go by. Like we're constantly interrupted by noise, but that's because we're making music in the world. And the world is noisy. And I also think it releases some of the tension of a concert hall or an opera hall, because that can make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes people are like, what if I clap at the wrong time? What if I do? And like last night, people were clapping all the time. They were clapping in between movements. They were clapping after a big high note. Like, they're just enjoying the music. And I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
As you're speaking, I'm just like really getting present to the power of music. Mm-hmm. And like times in my life where a certain song or something has just like really connected deeply and felt like supportive or something.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like for someone whose life is filled with music and rehearsals and performances, like what have been the songs or the moments where music made kind of like the biggest difference for you?
Usually not the rehearsals. The rehearsals are work. And I'm focused. And a lot of times the performances are still work. You're still, I mean, you are on, you're really not there to enjoy yourself. I mean, it's fortunate that we do get to enjoy ourselves a lot of the time, but, we're there to deliver a product. And so sometimes that can take you out of the enjoyment and the power of music. But every once in a while, there are moments. Actually, something that we're performing next week. This is not a plug, but it's going to be a plug. At the Grand Park Music Festival, we're doing Mahler's Resurrection Symphony, and it is powerful. The end is, I mean, there's like loud, huge music leading up to it, and then the end is like so quiet. You have to lean forward and hear, and then we build again, and it just becomes massive again. And we did it with the CSO at Ravinia a few years ago, and I was brought to tears on stage just because the text is powerful, and you have almost 200 people on stage, and like that's powerful to me, being with other people on the stage and all coming together to make this incredible sound.
Wow. I'm so excited.
So I think you should come.
So I'd already kind of put it into my calendar for Friday night. And oh man, I'm so excited. And maybe I'll get tickets in the bowl because that just sounds so cool.
Let me know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll keep an eye out for you.
Okay. So here's, I think here's a topic we're interested in. So I started out as a music undergrad. And as a percussionist.
Yeah?
Did you know that?
I think
Have
I
we
did.
ever talked about that?
Okay,
let me just say as an aside how I know Cassidy, which is we went to the same high school, but at different times. And when Cassidy went, my little brother was there, and they dated for a couple of years.
Yeah, over a year.
And
which
because
is
of
years in high school
Yeah.
because of right, exactly.
It's like dog years.
It's like big
Serious.
part of your life. Because basically high school is your whole life.
Yeah,
So you
it
dated
is.
for like half of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Point, right? So what's funny about it to me is that when they were dating, I was married, like adult. And
Yeah,
they were like
very
kids,
adult.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And now that we're all kind of older, I mean, like I'm still older than you, of course, but like it feels much more like peers, and so much time's passed, and it's just funny. Now we're both in Chicago. That was in Denver,
Right.
So,
but you didn't live in Denver at the time.
no, I didn't live in Denver, so we would come and visit, and my mom still, if you bring up musicals basically at all, she'll be like, "You should have heard Cassidy and Aida." Because Cassidy was the lead in Aida. You were Aida, right?
I was Aida, yeah.
In Aida, in their high school production. And my mom's still like, that was the best singing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh.
I know.
She should come out to Chicago and hear something.
I know, and actually, you might be better. I don't know. I don't know. You probably peaked in high school with Aida.
Senior year of high school. I mean, who doesn't?
So looking at my kind of experience as a music major, it's so competitive. There are so many people that want to make that their career, and from my perspective, the like perseverance to become an excellent musician, and then to also make a living as an excellent musician is like incredible. And so I'm curious, you know, what have been the hardest parts of that journey, and what continue to be the hardest parts of that journey to actually make a living doing something you really love?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with, I'm going to challenge the last statement that you made, making a living doing what you love. First of all, I don't make all of my money from music. I can't do it right now. There have been different times in my career where I have, and I haven't had to have any side jobs. But ever since moving to Chicago, I've had to have another form of income because there's just not enough singing work. And
so first of all, some of it is willingness to do other things.
Willingness. Yeah. You have to be willing to do something else.
Yeah.
And just to fill in the gaps and to make, I mean, it would be possible if I wanted to live in a tiny place and never travel and only eat ramen. Like, I could do it.
Yeah. You would be living a different lifestyle.
Right.
And
my budget
would
look very
probably
different.
Further.
Exactly. But I am in my 30s and I enjoy a nice living space, and my family lives in Colorado, so I want to travel and visit them. I passionately enjoy skiing, and that's a huge part of my life. And I still get a ski pass even though I live in Chicago. So those kinds of things. I need more money. So having another form of income is important. Yes. What was the question?
Yeah. How do you persevere, or how do you create what you've created? What are the bumps along the way?
Right.
And what's the hard part about still in your 30s I'm going to say making a living, even though we just talked about that, but like making a living as a professional musician.
Yeah. Part of it is being stubborn. I think, perseverance and stubbornness sometimes go hand in hand. I really love what I do, and I don't want to give it up, and I will keep doing it. And sometimes the people that make it are just the most stubborn ones left standing at the end. I've also had to change or maybe shift my ideas of what success look like, because when I was, graduating college, I thought, well, I'll be an opera star.
Obviously.
Yeah. And that would be what, like headlining the Metropolitan Opera.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, I was like, I don't have to sing at the Met. That's a dream, not a goal. And that was something that I tried to define pretty early on in my career, where the different, these are dreams and these are goals, because it's wildly competitive. And it is not always just who has the best voice. Just like every other industry, it is about who you know. It's about the people that you've worked with. It's about how someone's feeling if they had lunch before your interview / audition. Like it comes down to so many different things. It's a lucky break, and you can't plan for those things. And goals are something that you plan for. So it's a dream to sing at the Metropolitan Opera, but now maybe it's a dream to sing there as a chorister instead of a soloist, and that would be really, really cool. I don't know if it's in the cards for me, but shifting from being an opera star to, and that was 21, like, I'm going to do that. And then it was like, okay, could I make a living and sustain a lifestyle just singing with regional companies and still as a soloist? And I still want to sing as much solo repertoire as I can, because I think that's how I make my greatest impact as a performer, and as a singer. I love chorus work, but I don't get to make the decisions, and I don't get to. There's
more room for like expression as a solo singer. Your own choices.
Yeah, your own choices, and you get to use the colors of your voice in different ways. In a chorus, you're constantly trying to blend and create new colors, but as a group. And, you know, maybe I would make different choices if I were singing it as a soloist. You know, singing on my own, I would color something a different way, sing something a different way, and I would get to use more of my voice than I do in a chorus. So that's still a goal, is singing solo repertoire. But that's harder, and that doesn't, that's not as consistent. And it is, you know, as I develop this career, and I think it's always developing until the end, you know, it's growing, it's changing. And I am figuring out what's important to me. What's important to me as an artist, and also what's important to me as a person. And that changes, and a lot of rejection along the way. I think that's another hurdle. As we were, rejection is, at first it's like, it's crushing, right? And then you just deal with, you know, you do 20, 30 auditions a season, and you just get used to hearing no all the time, and you listen for, like, no is, to me, is the baseline. Like, okay, that was a no. That's normal. Because you're one of 1,000 auditioning for one spot. Like, no is so normal. But hearing a compliment in the audition room is different. And so those are the things that you look out for. Or like getting a callback instead of not. And then you think, okay, what did I do differently there? And you try and grow on that.
Yeah. It occurs to me that, I mean, in areas way beyond music, if we could make no mean nothing.
Yeah. Mean nothing, or have it be normal.
Yeah. Just have it not stop us. Right? I think it's, for me, like, it's so easy in little ways where I interpret something as rejection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't get hired by somebody I wanted to work with or whatever. It's so easy to get taken out.
Yeah. For me, before I even begin, sometimes, like, the fear of hearing no stops me sometimes from even like go doing it.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, rejection.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So let me just not even like do the thing.
I'm going to say no to the
then
no.
I'll just stop. So it'll either take you out or it'll keep you from doing anything at all. I think that is probably the thing that I admire most. I mean, I think anybody that's, I mean, there's other arenas where you just got to face no all the time. I guess even in sales. Right?
Yeah,
there's all kinds
absolutely.
of places where it's just like you expect no.
Yeah.
But you also are going for yes, right? You
Right.
also,
Oh, yeah.
it's the perseverance is, it's like you're not resigned. So you're not letting those no's take you out, and that you're like, well, I'm just going to go in and, you know.
I know I'm not going to get it.
But it's like you said, I loved how you said, like, I look at, like, what did I do? What did it? So there's still, like, I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep seeing what I can get from it.
I'm going to listen
mix of, like,
to
still
more
working
than just
towards
the no.
it, and also not making the no mean anything.
Yeah.
Man, that is powerful.
It's exciting. You know what? I think it helped me with my dating life too. Because I've gone through years of rejection and figuring out the little and learning and growing. And I was online dating for years, like a year back in Denver, and then I think 4 years here in Chicago. And I was on all the apps.
Yeah.
Right. You deal with a lot of no, or a lot of like mediocre,
Meh.
right? There's a lot of meh.
Yeah.
So meh became the standard. Like, okay, meh. But what was it about this person? And what was it about this interaction? And did I present myself differently to make that more successful? And was it about that person that I liked or that I didn't like? And then you learn and you grow, and the next interaction along the way helps you figure it out. And then I found and it was successful. I'm a success story for the dating apps, and I found my boyfriend Nate on OkCupid.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like there's something about like being present to everything outside of the no or the meh, right? Like just kind of what you're saying, to be mindful of everything else. Like, don't focus so much on the no, but focus on, like,
what can I control? What can I change?
All the other things around it. That you can learn from. I love that.
Or like the positive feedback. A lot of times we won't hear positive feedback because the no, right? So like you're saying in the audition room, even if it's like a no, they still might say something nice. Actually hearing that, taking that in, appreciating that.
Yeah.
You know, that occurs as really powerful too.
Yeah.
Should we wrap up?
We
Man, that
have
was
got
awesome.
to. Yeah.
So let's just consider a practice. Here's what's occurring to me as a really cool place to look for us and for you guys is, like Kristin was saying, like, where in your life are you not willing to try something because you're so afraid of no? Request something, audition for something, at work, in personal life, in your hobbies. Where is there a place where you're like, I just couldn't take a no there?
Yeah.
And consider
going for
going
it.
for it.
Yeah.
And being okay with the no.
Yeah. No means nothing. It's the new normal. No is the new normal.
Yeah. And then yes could just be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, totally. This was great.
Where can people find you?
So I, as I've said, I do a lot of ensemble work. So that's the bulk of my performance right now, performing right now with the Grand Park Music Festival. We're wrapping up our season soon. But I also sing with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. And I have a website, Cassidy Smith Mezzo, because I am a mezzo soprano.
Okay, so that's where, like, because I'm pretty sure among our listeners are like the casting folks at the Metropolitan Opera.
Exactly.
What would be the other operas? The Staatsoper or whatever it's called in Vienna?
The Vienna Staatsoper. I mean, just, if you're looking
They're
for
all
an old
included
fan.
in our listeners.
Yes, obviously.
So
We have an international base.
Mezzo.com.
Mezzo, Mezzo, for any.
Oh, they know
amateurs.
that.
I mean, they know
We
that.
don't
They know
know
that.
that,
You
but
did.
they
That was
do.
for you, not them, obviously.
Thanks for joining us, y'all.
Yes, and that is another episode of Cultivating Courage.
Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. I'm Matt Maxwell. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or other social media, or learn about coaching with me at thisishearthstone.com. And please check out my book, How to Hold a Cockroach, now available through Amazon. You can connect with Kristin on Instagram at RobinsonKristin, Kristin, or find her upcoming workshops at thrivecoachingstudio.com. Please subscribe to us wherever you listen and leave a great review. Don't forget our practice this week. Notice where in your life you are not willing to try something because you're afraid of a no, and go for it. We'd love to hear how it goes in the comments section wherever you listen, or leave us a note at cultivatingcouragepodcast.com.